Hello, Flosstube friends. How nice to see you here again. I am thrilled to share with you my cross-stitch endeavors of the last weeks. It is Thursday, July 18th. It is around 7:30 p.m. this time. You got to do a Flosstube film when you have time. And I hope that the lighting will work out the way I planned it. I think we're gonna be okay, but you never know when you're filming this late in the day. How have you been? Did you enjoy the European Championships soccer if you are in Europe? Maybe even if you're in the US, though I think the timing would be a bit awkward. Most games would be during the day, I guess. I really enjoyed it. I think the games made sure that I sat down and stitched a bit more than what I usually do. So I'm very pleased to share my progress with you. And of course, I'm very sad that England kicked us out of the tournament, and then England got kicked out. Well, not kicked out, but they lost in the finals to Spain. And gotta say, kudos to Spain. They played very well all during the tournament, so I think they were a very deserving winner of this round of the Euros. So if you're not interested in football or soccer, you're probably wondering why I keep talking about it. I love soccer and I love to watch soccer. So that's one of the main things that happened in the past couple of weeks. What do I have for you today? Well, I have 2 fully finishes, 2 finishes, a whole bunch of whips, because like I said, the games made sure that I sat down on my couch and stitched a bit more. And I had the company of some very nice friends that I think we started out with the game of the Netherlands against Turkey. Then we watched, we started out with England against the Swiss team. Then we watched the Netherlands against Turkey. Then we watched England against the Netherlands. And finally, we watched the final together. It was a lot of fun. So you know who I'm talking about, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, I'm sorry if the table, or at least the camera, shakes a bit, but Pookie is around and he enjoys jumping up and down into one of the windowsills. And unfortunately, while he has a lot of strength to jump high up, he is not very elegant, especially when he jumps down. So he's now battling with a Post-it note. Worst scenario, I have to get up and take it from him if he starts to eat it, but let's hope he doesn't do that. So 3 minutes in and still no stitching at all. Let me first start with the 2 finished items. These were the kits that we handed out on our Borduurdag on July 22nd. We had a day that started out with a lecture by Gineke Arnolli, one of the conservators of the Frisian Museum, who was in charge of the textiles and knows an awful lot about Frisian samplers. It was really a very interesting lecture. She had some there goes Pookie. She had some photos that you and I could never take because it was without any glass, and yeah, she could just take them as they were from the samplers. She brought along a couple of samplers that we could admire, and one of them was from 1651. It was an amazing sampler. It was in really good condition, and it was a very, very beautiful sampler as well. So that was the morning part, and then in the afternoon, the ladies and gentlemen that were there got their kit for the day, and the kit was this pin drum. This is the Frisian 18th century pin drum, and it consists of all kind of motifs that you would find on Frisian samplers in that time period. And also here are some of the borders, and all these small motifs on the ground are called grondjes. That's a Dutch word. I don't really know how to translate it, but that was also very typical for those samplers. Then at the top is a motif, this motif that was used also very much I stitched my initials there, or rather Kobe stitched it, I designed it. And a windmill because the Netherlands. And then on the bottom, you can see it says upside down. This is the correct way. Roden, 22 June 2024. So that was the kit that they cut exclusively for the retreat. I designed it. It's been years since I designed a piece this big. I've done some little bits or adjustments for workshops, but this was one large chart to do. Kobe stitched and finished it beautifully, and I'm very pleased that the participants really liked it. So the chart won't be available for another year. It's exclusive to the retreat, and I think sometime July 2025 I might publish it, and I'll let you know by that time. Then they got in the afternoon a little pincushion chart, also by my own design, to stitch during the afternoon. This is also from Frisian Samplers, especially this border here with the back stitches is very typical of Frisian Samplers. And I have another edition. These are two ladies, sort of like, you know, the you and your best friend, or you and your, you know, family member that taught you how to stitch. Or the chart also gives a gentleman and a lady, so you have like all different kinds of options to stitch this. I thought it would also be pretty cute as a ring pillow for a wedding. You can add the initials over here, the year there. Of course, you can, we used for the back, we used just a little calico fabric, but you could also use, of course, another piece of linen and add that, and then add more information if you want to. So these are beautifully finished by Kobe, and this one was stitched by me, the pinner one was stitched by Kobe, but it's sort of like a teaser because it won't be available for a little bit longer. Then I have two finishes, and I am excited to show you Evergreen. I finished Evergreen. Here it is. This, well, I was gonna say this is probably the most fun I had stitching a chart. That might be a bit over the top, but this was such a pleasure to stitch. I really enjoyed stitching one block every month. And then I think beginning of June, I couldn't finish the block with the dove, in the middle, up in the middle, and I started with the Santa over here, and then I got so enamored that I finished those two blocks, and then I stitched the fox in one day. So this is all with the called for DMC colors. It's on a 25 count linen, a natural linen 2/2. And the design is Evergreen by the Prairie Scholar. This is just exactly as it is. The only thing I changed is up here. Let me just get it a little bit closer for you. Above the dove, I stitched some greenery and a couple of snowflakes. The chart gives you the word peace there. I just didn't like it. I don't know. I think if more blocks had words, I wouldn't have minded so much. But in this case, I thought it was kind of weird when you have the whole piece and then all of a sudden it has a word in it. So I changed it for the greenery, and I'm really pleased with how this is done. I think I'm going to finish this with a off-white wooden frame around it. We have to pick it, select it, not pick it. We have to select it. But I just wanted to show it to you first, so because otherwise when it goes to the framer, it'll be gone for a few weeks, and I wanted to show off my finish. So I'm very excited about this finish, and I'm looking into, the Prairie School has done a couple of Halloween pieces that are also set up like this, like 9 blocks or 8 blocks, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe I might want to start one of those, so we'll see. For now, I've got other plans of stuff that I want to start, so I can't start it right now, but we'll see how things happen. Then another finish is Pumpkin Row by October House Fiber Arts. It's one of their skinny pillows. I stitched Snip Snip, which you can see here. I translated the words snip snip to knip knip, which translate loosely to the same thing in Dutch. So that's one part. And then on the other part, I stitched the pumpkins. There we go. So here are the 7 pumpkins. Again, I changed the word to pompoen, which is pumpkin in Dutch. And what I did with this piece, I started on June 16th when the Netherlands had to play their first game. And I figured if I stitch 1 pumpkin for every game, that means they'll get to the finals. Well, we know what happened. They didn't make it to the finals, but I did finish this pumpkin during the finals. And I have to say, I think that if they had played the finals, I would never have been able to finish this because I would have been too nervous and I wouldn't be able to stitch. So maybe it was a good thing that England kicked them out. I finished this this week. I had to still stitch this lower border and all the stems, but now it's done and it can be turned into a skinny mini pillow. I really love these designs. I looked at my stash. I've got Itch to Stitch and I have Tomato Row. I know that Robin released a new one just a while ago, but it wasn't available at our distributor yet, so I have to wait. It's one that has all kinds of needlework accessories, and I think it'll be a lovely addition. I stitched Deck the Halls last year for Christmas, so that means that 3 of them are done. And I already told you in my last video about my plan for something like Grand Old Flag, but it's the US flag on the front. And my idea is to stitch that. And then when I go to my retreat in September, the Blackbird retreat at Dying to Stitch, I hope to stitch the initials of the people I meet over there on the back side of the pillow. We'll see how that turns out. That's a start for August, so not for this moment. Then during the games, when the tournament started, we had a couple of 3 o'clock games. And I think that's when I worked on my cat pillow. This has been a bit neglected. I started it 2 years ago during my vacation time in Düsseldorf in Germany. And I got not nearly as much done as I thought I could because this is really funny because I always tell people there's no shortcuts when you stitch. So it doesn't matter if you stitch on a low count or a high count fabric, you still have to make all the crosses of the chart. Whereas with yarn, for example, when you knit, if you have really thick yarn and thick needles, it goes a lot faster than when you have really thin yarn and thin needles. Not so much for cross stitch, but I managed to get quite a bit done. I filled in all of the top part over here, so I still have to do this part here, but all the other sides, so here the plate and the background and the shelves I've done. And then I worked on the bottom part and filled in all of the dark brown, and I probably did some coloring in left and right just as I saw fit. I've worked on, let me see, it's a little harder to do this part here. So I did get quite a bit done. There's still over here, there's a lot of stitching to do, but my summer vacation started today. So my plan is to hopefully every day stitch like 2 strands on this piece and then work on any other piece. I'm hoping that by the end of the summer it'll be done. I think it would be a lovely pillow to use in the shop. And it's kind of fun to work on it. You need to get some sort of, I don't know, it's a canvas that you stitch on, so it's a little stiffer than your cross stitch fabric is. But once you get a hold of how to hold it, I roll it, for example. So if I work on the right side, I will just roll it like this and then work on this side. So that's what works best for me. All the threads are pre-cut. You are getting quite generous amount of threads. I don't think I'll use any color completely up. I think I'll have quite a bit left. And to give you an idea, so this is what I still have of the dark orangey colors. So that's really more than enough, I think. Anyway, I worked on that quite a bit during the games. Then I decided that I needed another project during the 6 and the 9 o'clock games. So I didn't want to do all new starts. I have another plan for that. I'll tell you later. So I picked up A Visit from St. Nick, which is a collaboration between Hello from Liz Matthews and Kathy Barrick, two designers that I really, really like and enjoy stitching. And of course, it's Christmas, so what else could you ask for? So when I picked it up, I had done the house, the reindeer below, and I had just started on this inner border. So I completely finished the inner border. I still have to do a few letters on the lower right side. And then I started working on the holly leaves. There are 28 holly leaves on this design. And I am not one for repeating motifs. I really do not enjoy stitching it very much. So 28 of the same motif is a bit of a challenge for me. But this was another piece where I did like 2 leaves, not every evening, but like every other evening, 2 leaves, and then worked on something else. So I am making good progress, I think. That filling in the house is going to be quite a bit of work, but I still got time. There's like a Santa up here and his sleigh with some reindeer. So I think once the house is filled in, this is all solid stitching. So I think once the house is filled in, this part will go a bit quicker, and I'll just keep working on the other 14 leaves that I still have to do. And then I have to go back and do back stitching on all 28 leaves. Okay, I might start that back stitching a bit sooner rather than later, because like I said, I just get bored doing the same thing over and over again. So I'll just have to work this into my stitching day as well. That was another piece that got quite a bit of progress. Let me just put this aside. Then I also worked on the Quakerhus wife by Jessie and me. This is the design. I started this a couple of years ago and it got a bit neglected. I have made nice progress. I stitched, let me just keep it like this. So I filled in this part, I stitched up this part, and I think I did some of these little motifs over here and here as well, this motif, and I finished this motif. So quite a nice bit of progress. This is stitched with a selection of hand-dyed silk threads. It's a combination of Gloriana and Silken Colors. And these are the thread colors. What I did is I looked at the chart and I just went to my stash and tried to figure out what would look best. So I've got a like a dark, it's not really a black. This is Antique Black by Gloriana, which I think is a very, very pretty black. It's not a solid black, but it's very, very nicely shaded. Then I did Arroyo, also by Gloriana, which is like a grayish color. Then Cinnabar Medium by Gloriana, which is the red in the chart. This is a mystery from Silken Colors. It's a off-white color. And then Havana Brown, also by Gloriana, which has a little bit of blue in it. And finally Taupe, which is like the lighter gray. So these colors all come back in here. And I really enjoy how it is going. This is a 36 count fabric hand-dyed by Kobe that she gifted to me a couple of years ago. And I think it's perfect for this project. So that was another project that got quite a bit of love and attention. Okay. Then before the Euro Championship started, I did a bit more work on the Christmas Mini Moon by Plum Street. And to be honest, I don't recall, I think I didn't have the tree finished before I stitched the moon and the holly leaves. I stitched the hair, I stitched this part of the other tree, and then I decided to start with the border below the house. I was a bit bored stitching the tree, so I figured I just need to have a new color and start stitching on the border. The border is full, it's fully stitched, this part here. So that'll take me a while to get done, but I really like how it is coming along. I think it's such a sweet design. It's stitched on a piece, it's Vintage Barley by Lakeside. It was a piece that I found in my stash and I thought it was perfect for this little chart. And it's stitched mostly with the called for. I made a few changes because I either didn't have the thread or I had enough of another color that was close that I wanted to use up. So the Christmas Mini Moon by Plum Street. And all in between, I really don't recall when I stitched on what. I worked on my American homes. I hope that by the end of August, I think if I'm realistic, it's going to be more like the mid-September, I'll have it done. I made some good progress. Here is what I have so far. I am working on the block over here, this block here. So I finished filling in the house. I stitched the tree. I stitched a lot of the background and I stitched the bird. There you go. So there's still a bit to do to be stitched on this piece in this block, but it's coming along nicely. I do have to frog a bit. This is what happens when you think you have outlined everything and then it turns out that you didn't. So over here you can see I stopped stitching this part of the leaf here, and then I started sort of mindlessly filling in between the leaves and the berries. So I have to take out this part and finish the leaf, and then once the background is done, there's going to be a bigger star and some small stars over here in yellow. I still need to fill in the windows here, here, and there. And then once that's all done, I can just fill in the leaves with one color. It's like the lighter green. I'm kind of hoping that I can finish this block the first weekend of August. I am going away for a couple days, and I won't be taking this one with me because for me, there's so much stitching already done on this piece. I've been working on this for I think 3 years now, maybe 4. And I always feel when you travel, there's always a chance that you lose something. So this will stay home, which means I can't stitch on it for a couple of days, but that's okay. Once I'm back, I'll pick it up again and I will do my best to get it done by first weekend of August. We'll see, we'll see. And then my friend Catherine was stitching all these lovely Christmas charts, and she said, well, I'm doing sort of Christmas in July, and she's breezing through. I think she's like on her 3rd or 4th finish already. Beautiful Christmas pieces. So I don't know, at some point I was like, I really want to start some Christmas pieces as well. Now I've been a Patreon on Teresa Kogut for quite a long time. I'm a tier 3 member, so I get 2 charts every month, which accumulates to quite a library of Teresa Kogut charts. And I haven't stitched any of them, not yet anyways. Part of that is because as a shop owner, you you mostly stitch what can be shown in the shop. And Teresa Kogat's Patreon charts have not all been released yet. Some of them have been released in books. Some I think even as charts. But there's like a 1.5 2 year sort of time lapse in between them. At least that's what I've found so far. But I figured, well, I can start at least one. So I started Naughty and Nice, and I started the Santa. I think what I'll do is I'll only stitch this part of the chart. I might adjust his mitten over here because I'm sort of visioning him as a stand-up, and I got quite a bit done. This is again on the 25 natural fabric that I really, really love. It is stitched 2/2 with DMC. It is none of the called for, I think. Let me see if I can get the color a little bit better. That looks a little bit better. It's DMC 1816. It's a little brighter than it shows over here. And I still have to fill in all these little blocks over here. It now looks almost like it's got a sort of pinkish color, but that's just the light playing tricks on you. I decided that what I would do is I had a file with, no, not a file. I had a file folder with quite a few Prairie Schooler colors left. And I figured I could just use them for this Santa as well. And then they will go together pretty well, I think. So I used like 3799 for his boots. I have no idea what this color is for his socks. This is 520. This 816. This is white. And I'm going to fill in his beard with a sort of an ecru color. I don't know whether it'll be ecru or 712. I just have to see that. And then I'm using 407 and 356 for his face. And then his, here you can see it. This here will be the same color as his coat. And I just have to figure out what I'm going to use for his staff. So we'll see how that ends. But it's a lot of fun. And stitching on the 25 count, I think part of the reason why it's so relaxing is because you can see the holes easily. And I don't know what it is, but I always feel when I stitch on this fabric that the threads lay flat really nicely. So I'm really enjoying this one too. I still have to fill in. Here's going to be, let me show it up. This is going to be a lighter green in between. So there's still quite a bit to be filled in. And like most of Teresa's charts, they look deceptively quick and easy to stitch. Now, I won't say that it's not easy. It's easy to stitch, but quick is different. At least for me it is. So anyway, that's the last of the projects that I have been working on. I'm sort of looking at the table, seeing if I need to show you something else. Now, that's what I've stitched on. And I am going away for a couple of days next week. I said that before. I'm really looking forward to it. And I plan on doing quite a bit of stitching. So I figured what I will do is a bit what I did in May with Mania. I will start 5 Christmas projects. So I'll start a project on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And on Friday, I'm driving back home. So I don't think I'll get a whole lot of stitching done. So I figured it's easier to start on a Sunday this time than on Monday. They're all Christmas projects, and my plan is to do a little vlogging like I did when I was in Düsseldorf and give you daily updates on how my stitching is progressing or not, whoever knows. But I thought it would be nice, and they're smaller projects. I didn't want to start anything big. I want to finish my American houses first, and then I've done Evergreen and American houses. And then I can look into something that's a bit more substantial. Though I must admit, as long as the projects you enjoy stitching, as long as you enjoy them, it doesn't really matter whether they're big or small. I really am loving what I'm stitching right now. So I'm very, very happy. So that's my plan for the rest of the month. I'm working on a new project along the lines of Project 53. I'll talk about that in my next Flosstube video. I still need to sort some things out and see how I exactly want to do it, but it's going to be a long-term project and I'm very excited about it, so we'll see how that works out. For now, I'd say I hope you have a great summer. I know that some parts of the world are very, very hot. I hope you can find a cool spot to stitch. Over here, it's been an interesting summer so far. We've had lots of rain, pretty low temperatures for the time of the year. But then, of course, tomorrow and Saturday, it's supposed to be close to the 30s, which is pretty high over here. And we don't do air conditioning here. So, well, not everybody. My house doesn't have air conditioning. So it's going to be pretty hot. But next week, it's going to be in the low 20s, which for us is, I think, a really nice temperature. It's going to be a bit more sunny, which will be nice, a bit less rain, which will also be nice. So I think it's the perfect weather to do some summer activities and stitch when you feel like it. I hope you have a great summer. I hope to do another Flosstube around maybe mid-August. I think in 3 weeks' time I might have enough progress on my whips. I maybe have some finishes that I can share with you, and I just love and really enjoy talking to you. If you enjoyed this video, can I ask you to like and subscribe the video? I would really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great summer. Bye, Flosstube friends.